Welcome to the FSM Sales Confessional, the show where real sales reps share their toughest struggles completely anonymously, from losing big clients to clashing with management or just feeling stuck. This is your space to be real. Each episode, I pick a few letters that hit hard, and I respond with honest, tactical advice to help you move forward. No fluff, just real talk. Welcome back to another episode of the FSM Sales Confessional, hosted by Promo Corner. Thank you for being here. And as a reminder, this show airs the third Friday of every single month. Thank you, Promo Corner, for believing in this show and for having my back on what I'm trying to bring to the industry. I am really excited for my guest today. I have had the privilege of learning from him, not only professionally, but personally as well, over the last several years. So I'm going to bring him on in just one second, but I want to paint a picture of why I asked him to be here. He's the founder of Harper & Scott and one of the most respected and innovative, really leaders and companies in our industry. So alongside of his team, he built this business known for creativity and execution and relationship building before ultimately being acquired by BDA recently. So today's conversation is not about promotional products. Today's conversation is about decision-making. Michael's career didn't just happen on accident. I see a pattern with Michael. He's made really good decisions over time, and he's decided to make good decisions with his business partner. He chose a good spouse. He chose a good team. So today I'm going to bring him in, and I can't thank him enough for being here, but I'm hoping we can just dive into, Michael, thank you for being here, dive into good decision-making. How do you know you're making a good decision? And if you're listening today and you're a sales rep, this is for you. Michael, thank you for being here. Michael Scott Cohen.
JQ, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. I'm very casual today. We got the Knicks, so everybody's in a good mood today. So I just speak to everybody today. I know this is not airing till next week, but that's okay. Everybody will still be on a high. Make as many calls as you can. Touch as many people as you can with emails and outbound, because everybody's in a good mood and everybody's going to say yes. So,
all right, I got to tell you, I'm going to be in New York next week. All right. Oh. So I'm flying in Monday. Yeah, and if there is a game 6, I think it falls on Tuesday at Madison Square Garden. So of course I checked ticket prices last night and I was like, well, that's not going to happen, but maybe I'll be there, right? Maybe I'll be there.
You'll be there. Put it out there.
Anyways, yes, congratulations. And thanks again for being here today. And I've really approached Promo Corner with this idea of how can we bring more knowledge and almost a masterclass to the industry, and in your case, around solid decision-making. So I'll really just kind of dive into it. And thanks again for being here. But you have built and scaled at a very high level. Out of the gates, you've been forced to make conversations, hard conversations, maybe without even complete information. What framework have you personally fall back on? What's your process to do that?
I think that the way that I go about things is probably less formal than a traditional founder, CEO, and it's worked for me a lot of times, but it also has had some fallbacks. At the end of the day, I came from being in a lot of debt in the mid 2000s. And so when I started my career, especially with Harper & Scott, I sort of went in with I don't give a shit attitude, because at the end of the day, if I lose it all, I've been there before, I can do it again. And I went to sleep, and I still go to sleep every night thinking I'm going to lose it all tomorrow. It's a fear that is innate. I don't know why. I wish I didn't have it, but at the same time, it's one of those things that drives me. So it's not like I live by this phrase or I do these simple steps. It's I want it really bad, but if for whatever reason I make the wrong decision, I'm okay doing it again. And I believe that I can build it back up again with the right team and the right people. I don't know if that was what you were looking for there, but that's sort of how I live by it.
No, it does. It leads me into your instinct. So I think that leads me into, do you believe that entrepreneurs are born with instinct, or is it little habits, or are you building systems that over time just are repetitive? is it instinct? That sounds to me like it's your instinct.
I said I don't live by phrases, but I think all entrepreneurs have to live by fortune favors the brave, and you have to be brave to be an entrepreneur. You risk a lot. You put others first a lot of times, especially in the early days where their paycheck comes before yours, especially if you want to build this. And so you really have to take a lot of risk, and it's not for everyone. So I don't want to say entrepreneurship's innate, like you're just born with it, but I do think that there's little steps along the way that lead you to take more and more risk and believe in yourself. And if you do and you want it, go for it.
Speaking of more and more risk, you decided to build Harper and Scott once upon a time, and without sharing anything obviously too confidential, how did you know it was time? How did you know, let's start planning this decision? How did you evaluate such a significant move?
I knew nothing about the promotional product space when I entered this industry in 2010, and I loved it because almost immediately, because I love sales. I love being in front of people, as you know. I love networking. This is an industry that every company in the world pretty much buys the product from them. There's a lot of competition, yes, but people buy from people they like. And if you can make good connections, it is a low barrier of entry industry. It has very good margins in some cases. And more importantly, the retention of clients could be years, if not decades. And so all of those things got me super excited about being in the industry. I was very happy where I was. I was there for a few years in the industry. I didn't want to leave to start my own company. I left to start my own company because I felt that I was forced out in a way that maybe hit my ceiling there. And it was the right time for me personally. I was just married, like first year. I had and I still do have a very supportive wife in Carly. And she believed in me. And I think that was super important because when we started Harper and Scott, and the Harper in Harper and Scott is actually named after her. She had nothing to do with the business other than believing in me. But and as an ode to her, I wanted to make sure that she had the title in there. So Harper and Scott is my middle name and her middle name. I have a partner, John Algem, who is incredible. And he did have 50% of the business with me. But his middle name happened to be Michael. So that would have been weird if it was Michael and Scott, which I would have had two names. So that was part of it. And then I just really took the leap. We went out there and we wanted to focus on one industry in particular. And in 2014, beauty was it. Money, lots of money and acquisitions were going into beauty. Sephora was buying companies, L'Oreal, Estee Lauder, everybody's buying companies. And I knew that if we went for the top, Sephora, for instance, which was one of our first clients, then we could use that on our homepage, in our emails, in conversations. And if we could pass Sephora's testing, especially if they're run by LVMH, then it'll open up the doors. And luckily, over the next few years, we went very hard in beauty. We still do a lot of work in beauty, but we made beautiful product. It's a super creative industry, and it really helped launch us.
That's incredible, and that's really cool about Carly. I didn't know that story. Yeah. That's really neat, actually. That's again goes back to your decision making, right? Like you picked a good business partner. You picked a good partner in life. So that's why I had you here. I really admire you for that. As Harper and Scott grew, right? More people, more team members, more clients, more opportunities, more pressure, more stress, probably. Did you ever decide, okay, these are non-negotiables when we are making a decision? Let's start here. Is there a non-negotiable, or is it just, again, that informal, let's just unpack decision by, each one?
I would say for the first few years, it was yes to everything. Yes, we could do it. Even if we've never done it before, we're going to figure this out. And it was almost a belief in our team and us that we're going to fake this till we make this. We're not going to take advantage of anybody. We're not going to scam anybody, but we believe that we're going to figure this out. And so if somebody wanted an influencer mailer, even though we never made an influencer mailer, we're going to say yes. If somebody wanted something imported from India instead of China, we're going to say yes and then figure it out. And that's what we did. And it put a lot of stress on us and the team. Yeah. And sometimes we had setbacks, but we always made sure that we took care of the client. And it really paid off taking a lot of those risks. Eventually, we couldn't say yes to everything. We actually pivoted about 5.5 years after starting Harper and Scott, started saying no, not just to new clients, but to existing clients that weren't spending a certain dollar amount. And that actually helped us grow even more. So we had a pretty big come to head with our executive team of saying, like, we've been saying yes to everybody.
Sure.
And most of those people spend less than $50,000 a year with us. Look at how many people spend that amount. Are they ever going to get to the $1 million plus where some of our other clients are? We had to be honest with ourselves and say no. So all those hundreds of companies, even though it hurt me to say no to those companies, and it was millions of dollars collectively between that, we made the decision to say no. And then what happened was we took a lot of our effort and our team growing a lot of those companies that we did believe would grow from 200,000, 300,000 up to millions. And then 2 years later, we had double-digit clients spending in the millions versus years prior because we put our attention in the right place. That was not my idea. That was somebody on the executive team that came up with that idea. I, as a salesperson, hated the idea when I first heard it. I was like, why the fuck would we say no to any business? I don't give a shit if somebody wants $5,000 worth of hats. We are saying yes to that. But they made me realize, and it's true, like, we're wasting so much time, and those smaller clients are your biggest headaches. Focus your energy on who's going to actually spend the money, and you're going to build a long-term relationship with and actually values you. Because the company that's spending $5,000 with you, even though they spend $20 million on promotional products, is in a long-term contract, and they're never going to buy from you in the next few years.
You're so spot on, and there's a pattern, right? Like, I could almost reword this as like, can you think of a decision or can you think of a risk? Because the pattern with you is your decisions are around really big risks. And it's actually eye-opening, because my next question was just out of curiosity. Have you ever had a decision that seemed small at the time, but then ended up completely changing the trajectory of things? But I could insert the word risk there, so you're teaching me a lot that, like, there's a lot of risk involved.
For sure. Yes. And I see your passion. Like, your passion isn't just in promotional product. Your passion is being in front of people, teaching people, learning from people. Like, you just want to sell, and not because you care about the money. I don't care about the money. Like, I care about the game of it all. Like, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I love being in front of Delta Airlines or Coca-Cola. I love getting on planes and meeting new people. I love helping people when they reach out to me. Just say, like, can I pick your brain on something? Like, dude, I love that you're a competitor and you're asking me. I'm more than happy to help you, as long as I'm not giving trade secrets or anything like that, which there's not that many in this industry. I love speaking to people that just want to learn. And honestly, I learn a lot from them too, because I'm already 42. When I entered this industry, I was in my 20s, and I thought I was like the trendy cool kid on the block. Well, there's so many trendy cool kids on the block now that can teach me so much that, especially about packaging. And luckily I have 4 kids now. So in the next few years, they're going to continue teaching me a lot.
You do have 4 kids. Congratulations. That's really exciting. I actually, it was really neat to see your sister's post, and reminded me a lot about my brother. And so it's really neat to see your relationship anyways. But no, I think that's because when you think about intuition and the role that intuition plays, it really is less of a framework and less of what's on your plate, what's realistic with this relationship. I was going to ask you, how do you personally prioritize where you decide your energy goes? And it sounds like you already called it out, where the realistic opportunity is, where it makes sense for the bottom line, our revenue, right? So you're not going to waste your time. How do you think sales reps? Go ahead.
No, I think that's a super important thing also, about where you spend your time, not professionally, personally. Like, I travel a lot for work. That's just part of the business. But I also, when I first started this business, I had a real struggle. I would call it a 10 and 2. If I was a 10 at work, I was a 2 at home. If I was a 10 at home, I was a 2 at work. And that didn't work. And I had a really big struggle with it, because I felt like I was missing things. I didn't want to miss the pitch. I didn't want to miss the flag football game. So I needed to really figure that out. And it took a long time for me to figure out how to be present in both the office, my kids' life, and my wife's life. And I'm still not perfect at it, but I feel really good about where I've been the last few years, and I try not to miss anything. So you see pictures of me taking my son on trips. Like, that's something that him and I do. I want to be there for him. I'm my girl's flag football coach. That's what that trophy is back there. Like, spend a lot of time on weekends on the flag football field, but I love doing that. I never want to miss a soccer game. Like, those are my non-negotiables. In work, like, I really want to plan pitches on my schedule. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if I could do that, because then on Mondays I could help out with my wife. On Fridays I could be here for the weekend. Like, you just sort of have to figure out what works for you. And sometimes the work trip is planned around the vacation trip, because then you could really kill two birds with one stone. You know, like, when my girls, I have twins that are 9.5, when they get to be teens, I think it's going to be really cool for me to tell the client, like, do you mind if I bring my twins along on this meeting? I know it's really weird that I'm asking you this. Like, most people probably don't bring their kids with you to the meeting, but I think for me, I'm going to be on an airplane 2 out of the 7 days of the week. I'd love to have my kids with me on that. They could learn a lot, and they'll be the note takers. We'll give them something to do. But I also think it'll make it more personal with the client, right? Because, like I said, people buy from people they like. But,
yeah,
you know, like, it's going to make me feel more human, because I am. Like, I want to bring my kids on the work trip because I want to spend more time with my kids. But I also do want to be on the work trip. So I don't know. It's still a balancing act.
It makes sense. I wish I had my pen. I want to write down this 10 and 2, what you said about 10 and 2. And I think I've been there, right? Where I've come home and I'm a 2. And I love that analogy. Thanks for sharing that. It's actually good reflection for me even. So thank you for mentioning that. And the dance videos, bro. I love when you break in and get the dance videos. Those have been really fun. And Michael Scott Cohen, you were on the All-Man 18 this year for PPAI. So putting some really good stuff out there regarding sales and business and entrepreneurship. Really, one of my final questions to you, to kind of bring it back, just as a leader and as you have an audience, right? There's a lot of sales reps and leaders that are going to be listening to this, and they could feel overwhelmed with pressure and sales and uncertainty and noise. What would be your advice for making calm, intelligent decisions when everything feels chaotic around you?
Perfect is the enemy of good. Don't wait until it's perfect. Just start throwing shit up against the wall and something's going to stick. So I say, do it. Like, we had an opportunity during COVID time. We did a really good job selling hand sanitizers and masks. It kept everybody employed. We did one of our best years during those 6 months of 2020. It was a crazy time at Harper & Scott. We had some advice from some people that said, furlough, shut it down. We said no, immediately started selling the PPE, right? But we did miss out on a big opportunity. The big opportunity was we had access to COVID test. And instead of just selling it, we thought it'd be cool to launch an app where you can, like, download and do all this. Building that app took us 12 months. By the end of the 12 months, nobody needed our COVID test anymore. I've missed out on a lot of opportunities by waiting too long and waiting for the perfect to be there. But I would just say, if you want to do something, just do it, because fortune favors the brave. And I'm 42 and, like, I'm just getting started. I really am. Like, I swear to God, like, having this fourth kid, and he just turned 1 month old today. So he was born on May 11th. Today's June 11th for all those that are watching this later. It puts things into perspective to say, yes, I built a great company. I got very lucky to be surrounded by really great people at Harper & Scott. And I love Harper & Scott for the last 12 years. And I'm really finding my groove with this transition with BDA. But I'm 42 years old and I've just gotten started. And I can't wait to see what the next decade is going to bring, because it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. So yeah,
I'm
get
excited
started.
For you. You got me amped up.
Let's go.
All right. Let's have some fun. I'm going to go rapid fire round with you. Okay. All right. In one word, describe decision-making is.
Decision-making is hard.
All right. Biggest decision you've ever made?
Whew. In 2006, telling my then wife, who I've been with for now 20 years, that I really like her a lot.
That's a good one. All right, I got one more for you. What decision are you most grateful for?
In the professional world, the decision goes back to 2014. I started Harper and Scott. 3 days later, my business partner, John Algem, said he would love to do this together. He asked for 30% of the company. I had 70% of the company. Within 6 weeks, I went to him proactively and said, I don't want to have 70% of this company. It's not fair to you. We're going to be 50-50 partners because we make 50-50 decisions. That was one of the best decisions I made. It locked John in for 12 engaged years. It made him a true partner. And I never felt like I had anything over him, and he never felt like I was anything other than him and equal. So that was one of the best business decisions I've ever made. And I am very happy that I decided to do that.
Wow. I got chills on that one, actually. That's pretty incredible. Speaks a lot to your vision and how you were value the folks around you. And yeah, thanks for sharing that. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you have to say? Anything else that you think folks would benefit from?
There's so many smart people, and smart is such a relative term because I'm not talking about a 4.0 from Harvard. Like I went to Indiana. I had a principal in middle school that told my parents that I would never amount to anything. Like smart is a relative term, but if you want something, regardless of promotional products or sales or whatever that is, like go do it. Like that is the most important thing. The fortune favors the brave line. That's not my line. I'm friends with a 97-year-old guy named Norman. That's Norman's line. And Norman's seen it all from 1929. So I would say do what Norman did, and fortune favors the brave. Go get it. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop being in a headspace that this is a mundane task. And am I going to get my promotion or my raise next year? Like if you're unhappy, change your mindset. Go do something else. And also, last thing, which I know you appreciate, JQ. This is the most important thing in life to me. And I think to a lot of people, because I see it with you too. Reputation is everything. Do not take a shortcut to try to make an extra buck. Don't write anybody off and say they're not worth it. Like reputation is everything. Spend the time with people on the call, and I don't know, give up a little bit of percentage if you have to, because it's going to come back to you later in life and you're going to be happy you did it. I know more than anybody, your reputation to you is everything. So I feel that same way.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I've built a brand and a sales methodology, and folks, I always tell people your results are tied to my reputation. So it's talk about risky. I'm always like, shit, yeah. I hope it works. Yeah. You know, but no, thank you for being here. And before we wrap up, I just want to say thank you again for being incredibly generous with your time, always with me for the last few years. Your perspective and your support, your team support, the relationship I have with your team, I value that. And every time we've connected, I feel like I've walked away with something very valuable. 10 and 2 today was like the nugget. And that's reflection and a masterclass for me. So thank you for saying yes. And on behalf of everyone in the Promo Corner, thank you for saying yes to this. I was like, I gotta get that guy.
Your reputation is why I said yes, and I always will say yes to you, JQ, because there's a lot of people that try to be sales leaders, and everybody wants to be an influencer, and everybody wants to be a thought leader. But when you come off as genuine as you do, it's so hard for anybody ever to say no to you. So thank you for what you're doing. The future in this industry is got a bright future, especially with people like you as leaders and trainers. And I know you do a lot of sales training, but just like I said, I'm 42 and barely scratched the surface. You've barely scratched the surface, and I know there's so much more for you. And I can't wait to see what you continue to do to this industry and beyond that. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that. Made my week, Michael. Michael Scott Cohen. Thank you. Congratulations on the addition to the family. And thanks for sharing that story about Carly as well. This will drop. Thank you, Promo Corner. Again, Promo Corner, this is going to go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, not Instagram, Facebook. And thank you, Michael Scott Cohen, out of New York. I'll be in your hood next week. So go Knicks.
Thanks, JQ. Go Knicks.
Woo!
See you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.